What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of R&B Reviews. I'm Brinder. This is Ridwan. Today we're gonna be talking about Shang Chi. Before we get started, just want to let you know that we have the podcast formats that usually come out a little earlier on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Podcast. So the link will be in the description if you'd like to use the audio rather than the video. And just like, comment, and subscribe. It does help us a little bit. This is just for fun, so we just like to do our thing. But let's jump into it, man. How'd you like the movie?
I think the movie. So I'm in the previous episodes. I said like this is the movie that I had like high expectations are for,
Most look forward to.
I think it was the highest expectation for out of all the movies,
Uh-huh.
and I think it delivered in like what it was supposed to do. Like it was a good action movie. The storyline was good. I, I, if I was gonna compare it to anything else, I would compare it to Snake Eyes because they had like kind of a similar format in terms of like movie wise. Not because of the culture thing. The culture thing was a big part of it.
Okay.
But it did feel like a similar format where you had a hero and this was like his origin story. So that's where the similarities are. You have two heroes and their origin stories,
I don't
and
know
you
why
have
you're laughing so
I'm not- and you have a little bit of the culture situation, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think Snake Eyes did a better job with their origin stories. I think this movie was really good though in terms of starting out on Shang-Chi, having him like within like the Marvel universe, and then kind of like sneaking in some of the characters from the Marvel universe to bring it all together. They did that more so towards the end, but I like the movie. How about yourself?
I actually really enjoyed the movie. I think I gave it like a high rating. It was a good movie overall. Like I just liked the comedy was funny. It was entertaining. The action was cool to see. It wasn't just like superhero fights. It was more like martial arts,
Yeah,
which I was like I liked watching. Like it was zoned in. And I think we'll touch up on it later. But I really like the fight scenes. The background of the story where his dad, the Mandarin, that was cool. That was interesting. They
yeah.
did a little bit of flashbacks. Overall, yeah, I enjoyed the whole concept. It was pretty good. There's not much I can say that it missed on. Maybe it wasn't like too emotionally attaching. Like I wasn't like attached to this character, that character, but
I agree with that.
it was a good overall like enjoyable movie for me.
I agree with the emotional like aspect of the movie. Like I don't think there's like a lot of characters that I got emotionally attached to, and the story moved kind of like too quickly to get like emotionally attached to like any one character.
The character, yeah.
I The fight scenes were like phenomenal. I feel like the fight scenes in this movie just showed like Marvel's like on another level of like creating like fight scenes, and I there wasn't really any parts that I looked at and I'm like that's mad fake or that doesn't make sense. Like throughout the whole fight scene, I don't know, maybe for you probably seen something else, but like throughout the whole fight scene it felt realistic
Yeah.
in throughout the whole thing. And then maybe if I rewatch it I'm like, oh, that's not realistic. But compared to like maybe because we just finished watching Fast
was
9,
horrible.
so like when now you go from Fast 9 to this, you're like, oh, this is mad realistic.
This is realistic. This can happen. Like a flying dragon and stuff. It's all
It's
reasonable.
mad yeah, facts. So I think that was the only thing, like, yeah, other than the dragon stuff, the rest, and like the little like puppy, what was it called?
It was I forget the name of it, but it was mythical creatures pretty much in that
Yeah.
realm.
Other than that, it was like it felt like mad realistic. So maybe Fast 9 kind of ruined my perception on realism in movies, but that's what I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Easter eggs and like just hidden nods. Like, the guy that says Katie's not allowed to use the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
You remember that guy? So he's actually he worked with Bruce Lee back in the day in like the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee is what this character is based off of. When Shang-Chi was created,
Yeah.
he was created like with inspiration from Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee was doing all these movies and such. That guy that said, oh, he's the leader of the Tao Lao army
Yeah.
or military, whatever. There's a village, so it's not an army. But he's the guy that worked with Bruce Lee. He was like the coordinator for martial arts and everything like that. So it's cool to see them bring that back. And like the fighting style was really cool. Shang-Chi was really doing like Jackie Chan-esque type of things. Like,
Yeah,
he would take
I
off
kind of
his-
noticed that.
Like he would take off his jacket, use anything around him in like in terms of like materials, whatever it needs to be to get the job done in terms of fighting. It was dope. I like the mythical creatures. The comedy was funny. Like the Katie girl was
It was like
jokes.
naturally funny. It was like
Yeah.
one of those that you watch and it was just like a naturally like funny comedy scenes. Like none of it felt forced or like they were trying to make you laugh. It just felt like supernatural. One thing I really like too is like obviously like with some of the movies like Shang-Chi was supposed to be like a movie for like Asian people, just like Black Panther was a movie for like Black people. But
to like integrate them into the community of
exactly.
Marvel.
So like and they wanted to kind of keep that core, like, hey, this movie is for like our Asian viewers, but the movie like it didn't go overboard in the sense that like, hey, if you're from the outside looking in, you're like, oh, I don't really understand what's going on. You can kind of still relate to like a lot of the things that were in there, while they still kind of had like that push for like Asian culture or Asian people just in general within that Hollywood.
Yeah, I wanted to ask like our friend Aaron, because he's Asian, and I was like, how did you like the representation? But Aaron's known for not like giving you like a good answer.
Straight answer, yeah.
So he just joked about it. He's like, yeah, this is better than Black Panther. And I'm like,
when he said that, I was actually dying. But I wonder, like, I feel like that's a good question, because I know for Black people, like, they always stress like how important it is to like have like Black representation in movies.
Yeah.
So I wonder how important it is for like Asian people. I know like recently, like a lot of them have spoken up on like the importance, because their families are known to not like want them to be like actors and stuff like that. So then
like the Asian community.
Yeah, the Asian community, it's not really promoted. So like seeing someone actually like take that leap of faith and like enter that scene probably like means a lot to them, because it's like, oh, like this person is doing something that I probably couldn't even imagine myself being allowed to do within this culture.
What did you think of like the background characters? Like I liked Katie, but I didn't like her too much.
Yeah.
And then we see Wong. Wong was dope. Just here and there we see the background characters. What did you think of them?
I thought they were like forgettable in a sense. I guess I would use that as a keyword. They were forgettable, other than like the father and like the mother. Like I feel like they were background characters, but they were like more in the forefront. But like the other ones seemed like very like forgettable, even though they played like a huge part. And maybe the sister and the sister like training him to kind of like learn his like mom's powers and stuff like that. That was kind of like a cool scene. But I also felt like that was forgettable. How do you feel about like that, his training arc? Because I know you're big on like having.
It was quick. It was like a 1 day thing.
Yeah, it felt like 1 day.
I think it really was 1 day, because Katie says like, oh, I learned how to do. I didn't even know how to shoot a bow and arrow, and then I hit the big shot. Like Aaron would say some shit like that.
Yeah.
I hit the big shot, and I only had 1 day of training. Like, so it was 1 day. I wish it was a little bit longer. Like maybe, they're gonna be here in like 3 days or something like that. That would be cool. And then you're just learning the culture and stuff, but they just kind of like just integrated really quickly.
Do you think we'll see recurring? Like, do you think any of these characters, other than I think Katie, obviously she's gonna come back, but do you think any of these other characters will end up coming back?
I forget his name, but he was basically the guy that says, "Oh, you're gonna fight." He tells Shang Chi, and when he goes to China, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna fight. You already signed the contract." That guy, he's funny, so I assume that they're gonna put him. He's actually a comedian, so they're gonna put him in something else.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't think I can see anybody else.
When you watch movies like this, like, do you feel like, yo, I gotta visit like these places and like kind of experience what they're experiencing?
100%, because I already like the Asian culture. Like I want to hit up Japan, China, and Vietnam and things like that. This just like, because they have so much history and like lore. Like all those mythical creatures that we saw in the movie, they're actually like mythical creatures from stories in China. Like they're actual like legends. Like remember when you looked at me in the theater and you're like, oh, Ninetales?
Yeah.
Like Ninetales isn't just like a Pokemon or a Naruto thing. It's like an actual like lore.
I actually didn't know. I started to think that when I was watching the movie, but I didn't know it. I was like, oh, I wondered if it was like an ode to Naruto.
No, it was I knew you were thinking that, but like Ninetales is in Pokemon as well, and it's in like other things, and it's just like the Asian culture just has these like legends of these creatures. Yeah. And that like that horse dragon. Yeah. That's there's literally a creature like that, and they're really big on like dragons and stuff. So that thing's just cool stuff to me, and then that's why I want to see it. Like they just have a lot of history and culture, so it's just nice to like see that and learn more.
The 9 tails, when I was like looking at, I was actually counting the tails out just to see.
I was gonna say
9 tails. I was like, yo, I was like, let me double check. So they show like 1, and I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I got to 8, and I was like, yo, there's probably 9.
There's probably 9,
one.
Yeah, for sure. Even the creature that has like no face, it's and like the bird thing, that the one that's Morris. He guides them, and I said he's like the plot armor. He's a creature in lore as well.
I can't lie. I thought they did it because editing the face and the CGI would be annoying. So I was like, when I seen that, I was like, I'm so happy for the editor, because he's like, oh, I don't have to edit like a face onto this guy. So I didn't know like those were the creatures. Actually, one thing that's kind of like a step aside too is like the Spider-Man trailer. Like, if you don't watch trailers, I remember you were there before me, so like
Yeah, so we walk in the theaters and like the Spider-Man trailer was playing. Like I already got my popcorn and I go sit down, shake hands with my friend, and like it's playing already. So like I just go like put my hands on my ears, start humming to myself, try to not listen to things. You can still listen, but I'm trying my best to ignore it. And
yeah.
I swear to God, it was going for like 3 minutes. Like these trailers are getting ridiculous. Like it's wild. I don't know
I
why they
I
do
feel
that.
like 3 minutes in a trailer is a lot in terms of like what you can spoil.
Hundred
Like, I like
percent.
being shocked by like everything. Like, I like going and then like Shang Chi. I watched. All I knew is was he trained in that place when he's like punching the thing. That's all I knew that he did because I didn't really watch the full trailer, right?
Yeah.
So I knew nothing. Like, honestly, I want to go back and watch the trailer and see what they would have possibly spoiled for me because I actually knew nothing except like the Mandarin was gonna be in it. I kind of knew that, but other than
His
that, like,
outfit too. I'm pretty sure I saw
yeah, I
saw
think
him
I
wear
seen
his
his outfit
outfit.
too.
I like the outfit too. Like the dragon scales. That's just pretty cool. That's like vibranium type for Black Panther. Um,
They didn't
and
really show. It's like they didn't really describe his full capabilities.
they didn't know. They did it for the like the weapons. Like
Yeah,
they said, oh, the arrows can like pierce other things, and it's the only thing that can defeat like demons and such like that. But it's cool nonetheless. I assume they were never gonna show us that like that's his,
yeah.
and then get it later. But he got it like pretty quick. It moved like when you talk about what is it that you talk about for anime like storyline wise. Uh,
Oh, not the time flow.
the flow is pretty much quick.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forget you have a word for it, but it's like it went pretty quick. Like and it was entertaining to watch. I'm just somebody that likes more detail a little bit, so I'll probably rewatch that movie and see what I can find.
Did you find like what were the power? Like, okay, so like they had the 10 rings, and then the 10 rings technically give him immortality, and then like was there more to it? Like, obviously, like he was able to fight with it. Like, he was a good fighter with it. But
Yeah.
like, was immortality like one of the bases of it?
We're talking about Wu, right? His dad.
Yeah,
It's immortality was definitely one of them. He's lived 1,000 years, and he tells the one leader of Talo,
that was sick. That was a 16.
he's like, watch your tone or something,
I lived
young
10 of your
man.
lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. I can't lie. That was a 16 when he said that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was like boss stuff. The rings in the comics are supposed to be actual rings, like on your fingers,
Yeah,
and they're supposed to represent like a specific god or things from like the past stuff. And it's like alien technology. So one of them is supposed to be like power. They all signify something, and in the Asian culture they'll have like the lettering, but it all signifies like power, strength, immortality, things like that. I assumed it was gonna be healing and all that stuff, but that they never explained it fully. So like they can continue on. They can say like, oh, he can heal himself, regeneration, or etc.
do
etc.
X, Y, and Z
But
with
right
it.
now we know it's like strength and immortality is like the main two.
Yeah,
So if they want to say 8 more things, they have that leisure to do so.
I found like with the rings, I like the fighting style that they were able to do with the rings. I feel like when he was in that situation, like his mom must have been like or Shang-Chi's mom must have been fired to the Mandarin because like he lived for 1,000 years, so he never met anybody. This is what I want to say in the chat. He for 1,000 years he never met anyone that he loved as much as his mom. I'm just saying that just to be more PG. But he never met anyone that was as fire as his mom for 1,000 years. And then he
Yeah.
finally meets her, and then he's like, yo, I'm willing to die for her. Like, and he takes off the rings, and he technically grows old or whatever. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, geez, like, yo, imagine meeting after 1,000 years, you meet someone and you're like, yo, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna like get packed for her. Like, I thought that was crazy, and then they end up moving away. I think the situation when like I think it was a messed up situation that he kind of had to go through, like his arc wise, like watching his mom die and stuff like that.
For Shang-Chi, yeah.
Yeah, and then like the dad comes up there and he's like, "Yo, that's crazy." I don't blame him for going on like the revenge path, and then like
For the dad, yeah.
yeah, and then like the son said he ended up doing it, killing it, but did they end up showing him doing it?
They didn't show it. They just said like Katie asked on the plane like, did you kill the person that your dad sent you to kill? And he's like, no, I couldn't go through it, so I left. And then later he says, I lied to you, like I smoked.
I did it, and then he said he could never come back.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like that part, I don't know. I didn't really completely get that part for him saying he can never come back after he made the promise to his sister. I feel like that's a snake move or whatever. But nah, like, I, if you were in that situation, do you think he made the right decision?
Do I think he made the right decision? I don't know. It's a tough thing to say because it's like killing somebody is always wrong, and like the MCU will explain that to us. Like,
Yeah.
killing people is wrong, and heroes never kill people. Besides, like Captain America having like the highest body count. Like if you go through the movies, like these guys be killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's hard to say like that he made the wrong choice, but like, those people did smoke his mom. They're like they came to the thing. They're like, yeah, we don't have any issues with you or your kids, but like somebody has to die, somebody has to pay, and like, and
They ended up packing the mom, and then
yeah.
like when he goes down and visits, I don't know. I thought that whole scene like was like crazy and like it was sad.
Do you think you would do it? Like, if you think your dad sends you to kill your mom's killer, your
To be honest, like I could train for it, but in the room, I don't know what I would do. Cause then I might go in there and I'll be like, oh man, my mom wouldn't want me to do this, and then after that might be enough. But I could be angry enough. I feel like I could be angry enough to
do it and then think later.
To be honest, for legal purposes, I wouldn't even think about doing it. For legal purposes, I wouldn't even consider doing it. But no, like in his situation, like I could kind of see why he did it. I feel like the most snake thing that he could have done wasn't even like what he did. I think him leaving his sister was the worst thing possible. Like when the sister's just like, oh, like you told me 3 days, 3 days turned to a week, a week turned to a month turned to a year, and it took me 6 years to realize that you weren't coming back. I was like, yo, that was so sad. It reminded me of when I went to Ghana. That's how I felt when I went to Ghana. I was like, yo, imagine I left like my brother in Ghana. That would be crazy to me. That's how I could relate. That's how I tried to like relate to the movie.
I can relate to it because it happened to me. So it's
like when you went to India, right?
Yeah,
like
because I thought it was a vacation. So I got sent to India. I thought it was a vacation. I thought, no problem. Little did I know there was no return flight booked. And then like 8 months passed by, and I'm like, all right, sick, guys.
This guy thought he was gonna be stuck forever.
I thought so.
Yo, honestly, those are the craziest situations. So I kind of understand how a sister feels like being trapped in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I guess they ended up being like super great fighters. One thing I didn't understand is like, I think they became great fighters too fast. Like, I assumed all these other ninjas were going under the same training.
Yeah.
So I was expecting like the other ninjas in a sense to like be just as good as they are. I don't know. Like I felt like it was a little bit of plot armor. Like the fact that he got that strong where he could fight like 10 ninjas, but like aren't the other ninjas going under the same training? I don't know.
I think they're slightly not going over the same training because his dad's like specifically watching him. Like his whole goal is to make this guy better than everybody else.
Okay, yeah.
So while you guys are doing like say like 8 hours of training, like this guy's going through like 14 hours. And he's getting trained by like that demon, the blue guy. So
the guy with the face mask, right? Yeah.
So
I didn't like how he got packed. I wanted to see like a better fight with him.
We had like during the movie, Aaron looked at me and Aaron had like a theory. He's like watch that be his mom, Shang Chi's mom. He's like, oh, that guy came out of nowhere. The training just started after the mom died. And Wu probably used the rings to like bring the mom back, but it wasn't the same thing. So he ended up putting the mask on her, and then now he's just training his son.
Oh, he was definitely wrong.
I'm like, yo, you could be right, but ended up being wrong.
His mom, I think, honestly, like I almost thought his mom might be alive when I was watching the movie. I was like, yo, maybe his mom is behind. Like when they're explaining the gate stuff, I was like, oh, maybe his mom is behind.
You'd be easy. The demon will get you easy.
No, what I mean, like the
you
guy
would say, yo, slam us down here, brother.
Yo, his explanation wasn't convincing to you. You weren't convinced, like, yo, he's like, oh, your mom's calling me, da 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 da. Then he's like, look, your mom left a map to the place.
The only reason why it's like I was like, you know what? Maybe she could be alive is because the sister and the dad said the same thing. So Wu and I forget the sister's name, but Wu and the sister said the same thing. They said like I could hear her voice. Like
yeah,
I could hear this. So maybe she's still alive. Like it was like she was training with me. That's what they said.
Yeah.
But then that seems more like a ghost than an actual person.
Than anything else.
Yeah.
He like, I don't know, like it was convincing. Then when he got there, I'd be like, yo, that's mad tough to go through. Like that's not tough to like go through, and then you get there and you're just like, oh, like you hear the person's voice saying like, come save me. But then I'm thinking like when he was at the gate knocking, I'm like, yo, at some point you gotta be like, yo, would like his wife doesn't seem like the type to ask like to be saved like that. So like sometimes you at some
Or
point you
like
gotta
you gotta realize like after the first three punches and like these demon spawn are coming out, maybe she's not back there,
maybe you're
dude.
getting maybe everyone like the truth, everyone's telling you the truth.
Maybe yeah, maybe they're right. I wanted to ask, how do you like Tao Lao and all like the mythical creatures, and that being like sort of like a pocket dimension where they actually have their own like history and everything.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was kind of not anime-ish, but I thought it was like a good way to like tell like the culture and everything, and separate it from like the Marvel universe so that it doesn't interrupt like anything that they're going through. But I just like their like the lore of that like area seemed pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I just like the vibes of that place. Like I remember going into that scene thinking like, oh, like it was very vibey. Like you have like the forest, everything seemed peaceful. Like it just seemed like a place that you wanted to be at and just like chill and vibe. So I don't know. I was just like entertained by that area in general. Like I think they did a good job of like creating the idea of what that area was supposed to be. Did you
Mm-hmm.
like when you seen it? Like I know you had like other than like the pet being like the plot armor.
Yeah.
Like I know you had like, did you have like more thoughts to that?
I had a lot of thoughts. So first, I was like, okay, well, the Morris was definitely plot armor. He just happens to be there. He just happens to be able to speak to the one actor dude. That was a comedy, and then he just happens to know the exact path and telling you left, right, straight, etc.
Yeah,
So I was like, all right, whatever. That's plot armor. But a couple things, it was like, how are they speaking English? Like they're in like a secluded village that like nobody, no, like they're just by themselves for like decades, centuries, millennia, who
yeah,
knows. So if that's true, then how do they know English? Like how are they speaking the same dialect? Because like in China, there's what do we know Mandarin and Cantonese, but there's so many different branches of the dialect. It's like,
yeah.
okay, how are they speaking the same dialect and no English? Like, okay, whatever. It's just a movie. And then they said some other stuff, like their history was really cool. So they said they have different villages and cities,
Yeah.
and they were all like attacked by the same creature, the same spawn.
And every time they would kill someone, they'd take the soul
Take the
and
soul,
get
and the
stronger.
and the main guy would get stronger. It's like, okay, so like where are these cities? How does this pocket dimension work? So I hope like they end up
That's a good
explaining that a
question.
little more
That's actually a good question because the cities they said the cities we had were way more advanced.
more advanced. Yeah. So like where are they? Like how are they done? I saw like a comic book where Thor like meets him, and then Thor meets the king of Tao Lao, or whatever their community, one of the leaders, and he's like, oh, Thor, we knew you were coming. Like my seers saw. So it was like a cool little thing from the comics.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I really like the history of it. I just want to see more of it. I think they just like they went too fast there. That's where I would prefer pace. I would prefer a slower pace there. When they're
Yeah.
explaining history and lore to me, like slow it down. When it's like action and scenes and like things, go ahead,
Speed
speed
it
it
up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the action scenes like it was a long set like in terms of like the final action scenes. I
Mhm.
guess if you're super into action like some people are, then it was like, "Oh my God, like this is amazing," right?
Yeah.
For me like action is like secondary. Like you build up to the action and then you have like a little bit of action and I'm good. Like
Yeah. Exactly.
I kind of like the interactions between like characters and stuff like that. But I guess I can't complain. The one thing I would say is like, did you feel like the movie was like too like superhero movie-ish? Like did it seem like like too kind of like cookie cutter?
No, I thought it was like its own thing. Like it could stand on its own. The
Yeah.
only thing that might be too much is just like the mythical fight, like the whole at the end, like the climax. That was a lot, like to take in. The dragon comes through, and then he fights the demon, and then they're going through. That was like a lot. Like they could have like cut that down slightly,
Yeah.
but overall, I thought it was pretty solid.
Did you think he was gonna let go of his sister's hand?
Did I think that? No, I think that she was gonna do like the kickoff thing. Like she was gonna, cause they're holding the scale. I thought she was gonna pull herself up, kick off the dragon, and then say, yeah, deuces.
And like
Because that happens a
sacrifice
lot.
herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna be dead. Like I thought honestly, because he was holding. She's just like let go, like da 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 da. I wasn't expecting him to say like I'm never gonna leave you again, and some like or whatever he said. He said something along those lines. I was shocked. I was like, I actually thought she was about to get packed. Cause you're right. That's how they do it in most movies, and then they let
Yeah.
go. I thought she was gonna get packed, and that's
Like you know what Black Widow did to Hawkeye
yeah.
Endgame. That I thought that was gonna be the similar thing.
I think that would have been crazy if she did. But I liked her character, so like I wanted her to stay around more.
Was there anything that you like disliked besides like the things that we already mentioned?
Oh, like I felt like it was. I guess this, but I'll expand on it more. Like I felt like it was cookie cutter in terms of like superhero movies. Like you get the origin story, and I know it has to be like this in a sense. You get the origin story, and then you get like they had a villain in a different sense, and then at the end of the day you fight like whatever, like the big boss, and then everyone like goes home happy ever after or happily ever after. So I think that's what I didn't like. I also don't like when they had like the Captain Marvel part. I wish that was a little bit longer.
That was terrible. I think they were talking about some random stuff. Like it wasn't even like helpful information.
They're saying like, oh, have you like the rings, like some
Have you
energy,
seen
something.
they're like no, that's not the same stuff that we have over here. Maybe it's Chitauri. Maybe it's Creed. No, buddy.
I don't even know why they brought Bruce Banner. That guy was useless. I don't know why they like like there's nothing he's ever seen like this before. Like he's a scientist, so like
yeah.
So like it's not it's not
And
if it was gamma radiation.
why would you say Chitauri? Like Chitauri were dog water. You guys saw that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Even like the raccoon. What was that guy's name? The raccoon. Rocket. Yeah. Rocket Raccoon. So he's like, why don't you guys just destroy the ship? The Chitauri are the one of the weakest army of like the galaxy. I don't know. I didn't like that. That part was shit. And then Captain Marvel was like, "Oh, I gotta go, guys. Bye." Like, where your character
he has
sucks.
my number. Yeah. I don't know. Like her character isn't like super sick. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what to think about that. Like that's what I would say I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Out of everything, and
I didn't like the fighting. Like it was like, remember when Wu goes to try to find Tao Lao, Tao Lao.
Yeah.
Is it Tao Lao or Tola? No, Tao Lao.
Tao Lao, yeah.
So Tao Lao, and then the mom comes out, and then they have like the fight. It was cool that like as they were fighting, like they were like liking each other. Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But like the whole like acrobats and stuff, that was like, we know there's wires, and like this is like old like kung fu movies from like the 1990s.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't make it look better. Like,
what do you mean like the wires like that?
Like when she was like, when they like kicked her, like she was going like backwards and like spinning around, but it didn't look like she was doing it by her own self. Like it looked like she was literally on wires attached. Like it looked not realistic.
When they first met,
when they first fought, that whole fight scene.
Oh, okay.
You know how old kung fu movies like they'll have something.
You're talking about before they were doing, because it was a dance. At first it was a fight, and then it went to like a dance.
It was like the first like fight part.
Yeah.
They're like moving like it was a 90s kung fu movie. Like they were like, he kicks her and then she goes, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, things like that. That shit didn't look sick. I didn't like that.
I actually about that scene, I think they kind of illustrated his character the best when he's like, yo, I want to go there now, and then they're driving through the forest, and then the car drives off the cliff, and he doesn't even try to save them. He just like bounces back on the cliff.
He breaks the door, just jumps out himself.
Yeah,
he looks down and the car is like exploding on the ground.
That was crazy. I don't think I would have messed that up as a driver, but hey, man, that's me.
You definitely,
I wouldn't.
You would have just drove off.
I would have kept going, and then I would have hit the brake before I went off the cliff.
If you want to say so, man.
That's facts. I would hit the brakes. I don't know.
I can't think of anything else that I didn't like.
Do you think this, like, are you, like, glad, like, I guess this isn't the first part of Phase 4, but it seems like a recontinuation of, like, the blocks to get to, like, to finish up, like, Phase 4. Mm-hmm. Is this, like, a good first step for you?
I think so. Like, I think it hit my expectations. I don't think it was a bad movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, like, nothing to, like, besides little things, there was no issues in terms of, like, an overall story. Maybe just show me more lore of Shang Chi and, like, the Asian community. The rings itself. Beyond that, nothing. I think they can even like showcase like what the rings were from later on.
Yeah, I think they'll do that. I guess maybe less standalone, and like because now you have like the other movies. So like this one was like a lot, very like standalone-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I rank it like compared to everything else. Like I don't know. I liked it. It was good in the phase 4 stuff, but I don't know. Like I feel like I wanted more a little bit, but I just don't know exactly what I wanted. Like I feel like there's something missing, but I just don't know what it was that I wanted to take away. But there's not like a lot that I could say like, yo, they didn't do this. But
There's not a lot you can say, and I agree with you. Like there's something that was like off about it, like or
yeah,
missing. As I was watching it though, like I rated it very high. Like I was watching the movie, like whoa, this is a really good movie. And then like as the days progress, I'm like, I don't really remember too much. Like I'm
yeah.
like, what happened?
Like
What was this?
it's missing like that significant factor. Like you know when you watch Thor Ragnarok at the end, you're like, oh my god, like Thor
This was
Ragnarok,
a
like
fire
mad sick.
movie.
Like yo, you gotta watch it. Like this is just missing something in terms of like that. I
Did you catch any Easter eggs?
You know me, like I
So there was a Black Widow fighting in the fight ring. Um,
there's a Black Widow.
there's a Black Widow character, and she's credited on the credits as Black Widow. And then we saw
Wait, what?
Abomination. Yeah, she was
Oh,
fighting.
Abomination. Yeah. I see. I
She was
remember
fighting the same
Abomination.
area that Abomination was at. She was just not in the main ring. She was just on the side rings. She was fighting one of the guys that like goes like red or like fire or whatever. So the
It's supposed to be
and
before she gets
she was
packed?
huh?
Supposed to be before she got packed.
No, not Black Widow, like the one like the main Marvel girl, like a Black Widow that she saved.
Oh.
So you know how we just watched
Oh
Black Widow,
yeah.
and then those girls got saved.
No, I didn't. I didn't
There was a
notice
girl.
that.
There was the same actress too, that played one of the Black Widows was fighting in that fighting ring afterwards, and she was Asian. And then Abomination, and then Wong. Wong was sick. I like Wong. Wong
Yeah,
is pretty good in everything.
they actually did a good job like portraying his character.
What else? They made references to like Dragon Ball Z when he like did a Kamehameha
Yeah.
wave. The 10 rings. I just don't understand how like does he have the 10 rings? Like is he gonna keep them?
Yeah, it sounds like he because they asked him like, "Oh, do you have the 10 rings on you?" I don't know where the rings were.
Oh, at the end, he
Yeah,
said,
yeah. He's like, "Yeah, I have them." He's like, "Okay, come here and like bring your friend." I don't know why they said bring your friend. Like they made it sound like she had a superpower. She's significant, or maybe I'm like reading too much into it. But they made it sound like she was more than.
I hope they don't end up together.
They don't seem like.
Bro, I hope they don't. I hope it's just a friendship. I hope they do not end up together. Like that. Just
They
wouldn't be
seem like
sick.
an awkward like couple.
Yeah, that would be weird.
They seem like in the movie they seem like they're close, but they seem like they're not close at all. Like they don't seem like they could be a couple, but at the same time they seem like mad close. Like at some points, I thought they were a couple, but I was like they were like an awkward couple. Like it didn't seem right.
Like when she like after they killed the demon and they were at the thing and they would put like the water shrine things. I forget what they're called. And then she like leans in like holds his arm and stuff. I was like, whoa.
I feel like it
on
was
here?
more at the dinner table that they felt like a couple, and then after like, but it felt like something like was off about those two as a character. I don't know. That's how I feel. Like that's just how I felt about that.
What other Easter eggs? I can't really think of too many. I think they need to make Easter eggs more noticeable. Like the tiny stuff like that like, oh, this package was on this package. Like we don't need to see that. This was after the blip though, so this we know that for sure.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner goes back to being Hulk goes back to being Bruce Banner, and that Aaron told us that, and he was right. This is after the blip, so it's just interesting to see how things go. He was apparently not blipped, Shang Chi, because where he graduated, he's class of 2017.
Yeah.
And I forget his age, but he wasn't blipped. So that's
Isn't
something
it?
to take in.
I wonder if who. That's actually a good catch. Do you think the Hulk is gonna be or Bruce Banner when he turns into the Hulk? You think he's gonna go crazy Hulk again?
No, I don't know. I think they just ruined the guy completely.
You think completely ruined?
I don't even want to see another Hulk. Like I don't want to see Hulk in like any Avenger type thing.
I don't know what I want like from the movies.
We'll just have to wait for like She-Hulk and like see if they.
Oh
like,
yeah,
make
I think
something
she
better.
is Meg the Stallion in the movie, but she's not like allegedly.
No, she's not She-Hulk.
She's not She-Hulk, but she's like
Yeah,
in the movie.
somebody just said she should be She-Hulk.
She would fit as a character. Yo, they would make a killing. Like if she was She-Hulk, the Marvel industry would make a killing. She
I don't
would
know about
represent.
that.
I wonder if She-Hulk is gonna be black.
Bruce Banner's cousin.
Oh, okay, then yeah, definitely not black.
Yeah. What would you rate the movie?
I don't know, yo. I actually don't know what I want to rate it. Like I want to say 8.5, but I don't know why. Like 8.5 is the number that just comes to my head.
So as I was watching it, I was giving it an 8.7, and then later on, I was like, okay, let me dial this back. 8.3. I think I'm at an 8.2 now.
That makes sense. Like I can't argue with you on this one.
Yeah, because it's good, but it wasn't 8.7 good. Like 8.7 out of 10 is like really
It's really good, but it didn't do it. Like the thing is, it just didn't do anything bad. Like that's what I think makes the movie so good.
Yeah.
Is that it didn't do anything bad. So like that's why
And
it feels
8.2 is like a B plus or a B.
yeah,
Like,
like that's
solid.
good. That's good.
Solid.
I think that's interesting about this movie because like where you're so used to like watching a movie, not you specifically, but just in general, like watching a movie where like, yo, this movie is bad because of this. But like I feel like this is one of the few movies that I've watched or first movies I've ever watched that is good because it doesn't do anything really bad. Like in general, like there's nothing bad about this movie. So it's a good movie because nothing is bad, but like it doesn't do anything like super great and amazing as well.
It doesn't. Yeah, but it's a good like starting piece for Shang-Chi as like a Marvel character.
Yeah.
So like what would you say his trajectory would be?
I think he's a solid character. He's likable. He has like all the pieces for like a good superhero character that you would want. Like I like the character specifically. He's funny. He's not like Iron Man type funny, but like he's charismatic, but he's charismatic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's in like a good spot where you're like, oh, I want to see him, or like it'd be cool to see him. But he's not like a GOAT character.
He isn't.
He's not like a GOAT character yet. Like he saw some like.
He could get up there, like what, like this could be like a B movie, and then like the second one could be like a plus.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not a bad start. It's pretty good to see, and I like how there's like diversity. There isn't just like Iron Man white guy, Captain America white guy, the Hulk white guy, Black Widow white. Like all are they all white? Like all Avengers, white. Like the main Avengers, yeah, they're all white. So now it's like
except Black Panther. That's
Captain America. We have I don't know what's gonna happen with Black Panther. Captain America. Then we have
Ant-Man's white.
Ant-Man's white. We have Shang Chi now.
Yo, I didn't even think about how white the cast was.
You don't think about it till you think about it.
Yeah, like that's actually a good call. Like I didn't really think about how white like a majority of the cast is.
I'm just gonna go off topic real quick. Kamala Khan. Apparently, there's rumors that she was gonna be gay.
In the movie, I don't even know which character Kamala Khan is.
Miss Marvel, the girl, the teenage girl. She's Muslim.
Yo, you know what I noticed? And Marvel does this. Marvel Comics does this. When they mix up like a lot of like their character, like they'll have a character that's everything. Like Miles Morales is like he's black, he's Hispanic, he's gay.
He's gay?
Yeah, like in the comics he's gay. He's there's something else. I can't remember.
So they can just toss all
they put everything in one, and I don't like that. Like I don't mind like whatever having like these different characters, but I feel like it's a cheat to like to mix everything in one. And then like are there people like this in the real world? Yes. But like I feel like you kind of
Are they the majority? No.
No, yeah, you kind of take away like
you're representing like the one out of like the 100.
Yeah, exactly. Like don't like
if you just
an average Spanish person isn't gonna relate to a half black, half Spanish gay character. Like and a gay person might not really relate to like half black, half like there's just too much things that are mixed into it. And then like he grew up in the hood, where I think like I feel like you should give the character a better chance of being more authentic.
Maybe they're just going for partial like how we tried to relate to Shang-Chi. What did you say you just related to him? And you're like, well, I was trying to relate it. Like, oh, maybe if that was my sister behind the Dragon Ball, you're trying to relate. I think that's pretty much the only thing maybe they're going for. They're just like, oh, let me just get, if we can get this one to slightly relate, then we get a lot of the community to like it.
It's possible, but then like I get like with Marvel, I don't think they'll ever go through like the or actually not the gay characters, like but like in Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse or whatever, I feel like that kind of works a little bit because you had like his dad that like was black, and then like his mom was Spanish. So you're right, like I kind of related to having like a black father in a sense, and then like his mom was Spanish, so someone that was Spanish could probably relate like, oh, like my mom is Spanish, like, and she was speaking to him in Spanish and stuff like that, so they can kind of relate to that. And he's from New York, So New York, that's probably a lot more relatable as a character because like they're more mixed in culture.
Yeah,
So I think you are right. Like that
the
partial thing
black and
does work.
Hispanic
And then like,
community
but
is close.
I don't know. Like I feel like, or maybe I'm being insensitive towards people who are like that, like who like might be like gay and like biracial and stuff like that. But because I haven't seen it much, I always feel like, oh, those would be like two like separate characters, or like you could have a gay character that focuses on like his gay struggles, and then also a minority character that focuses on their minority struggles. I I don't know, like I'll never like be able to relate to the struggle of a homophobic person in the character, so that would make the character a little bit more unrelatable to me. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but we'll see. And so with Miss Khan, like her being like, especially like if she's Muslim, like her being Muslim and then like or bisexual or gay, I think like
Wouldn't be too
it
relatable.
yeah, it won't be too relatable to a lot of like Muslim people. I feel like they'd be like, well, I don't really relate to that at all. I feel like if you had two separate characters that did that, then now you can paint like the picture of like both struggles. But who knows, like maybe that character will relate to somebody out there, but I just feel like if you're looking to aim to relate to a majority, I think you'll like fall through on that. I don't know. Like imagine like they make like a half brown, a half white character who grew up in like,
Already unrelatable.
yeah, like you just won't be able.
Because
You
they do
just
that a lot. Like when they add like not Marvel but just like a TV show in general. When they add like a brown person, it's not a complete brown person. Like remember when you were saying like, oh, they date like a white person and like the family's cool with it.
yeah.
They have that in all the TV shows. They'll have like a brown girl and like a brown household. They're like, look, this is how it is in a brown household. But then she goes out and dates a white guy, and like they're all like everybody's
It was
smiley
cool,
and things
but
like
you know
things
it's not
that's
realistic.
not realistic. Like that doesn't happen often. I don't know. It's hard to tell them what to do, but it's definitely not relatable for us.
Yeah, like I don't know. I could like I can't relate to it, but we'll see like how the character ends up like coming out. I think with certain I feel like depending on like how the director like does it, it could be realistic or it could be like it could fall through. I feel like it's a fine line because now you have three different types of people that you got to make this character be relatable to, and if they can relate to that other person, that breaks the whole character like for
So
someone. But we'll see.
this was a movie that you were like really looking forward to compared to the other stuff that we talked about in our previous video. Check that out. But now after watching it, do you think like it met your expectations, or are you looking forward to something else a little bit more now?
I think it met my expectations. I still think Snake Eyes did a better job of like the movie wise, but it met my expectations. Like I feel like you didn't really have high expectations for this movie.
No, I thought I was just going in just to like
So
just watch something.
yeah, because
That
it's a
was
Marvel
cool.
movie.
Yeah,
So exceeded.
it hit it. Like I think it just hit my expectation. It didn't exceed it. It didn't. It
Do you
didn't
think
go
Eternals
below.
will still be better?
Yeah, I think Eternals like
Oh,
I think Eternals is expected to be much better.
like funny wise or just in general?
Just in general, like a Marvel movie,
Mm,
like a superhero movie, like and the cast and everything.
I
Like
think it'll be funny. I don't think it'll be
it's
better.
gonna be more memorable. I can guarantee you that.
I didn't watch the trailers fully, but I
Me either. I'm just saying it's gonna be more memorable.
okay.
When we watch it, you're gonna remember way more. You're gonna have way more to talk about.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm really like not a big believer in the Eternals. Like I think I watched the trailers. I'm like, oh, now I can see it being a funny movie, but I can't see it being super sick. I can't see the arc being like interesting enough to like what are they gonna do that's gonna make me interested. But we'll see. I didn't watch the trailer, so they have the benefit of me not knowing exactly what's gonna happen.
We'll see. You have anything else for Shang Chi?
Nah, that was everything.
I'm pretty sure I'm
I
good
do
too.
want to say, actually, I want to say one more thing. I want to say that going into the movie, CLB was dropping at 12 a.m. I did get an invite to come watch the movie, and the movie started at 10:30 p.m. And BD, among other people, were dissing me and saying, oh,
I didn't this.
you guys were saying, oh, like, Shang-Chi is greater than CLB. Oh, you're not going to listen to CLB at 12 a.m. I just wanted to say, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to like personal relationships. I don't want to ruin any personal relationships. But I just wanted to say, coincidentally, CLB got delayed to 2 a.m. after the movie, which was after the movie would be
I had
done
to
for
put
me.
a text in.
BD didn't like CLB, so
CLB. I put in the chat. Shang Chi is better than CLB or greater, and who knew back then when I was typing it that it was gonna be true? I don't know.
You did well. To be honest, CLB flopped. So I don't know. You're right. You're right about that. I just wanted to put that my 2 cents in.
Yeah, he came out and we thought he.
You guys thought they thought they were. I wasn't gonna flop. And if I missed the movie, they don't want to say this, but if I missed the movie and then CLB got delayed, they would have just been they were mad extra. So I just I'm so glad that I didn't postpone it. That's all I gotta say. That's my 2 cents.
All right.
But
well, would you recommend the movie?
Yeah, definitely go out and watch it. I think it's gonna be a major key into like the next parts, and I think the main character is very likable.
He's cool. Like the Simu Leon or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Inside and outside the movie, he did like a Reddit AMA,
Mm-hmm.
and he like people asked him questions.
He's like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's like mad cool. He's mad relatable. I
He's
think
from,
he's
like,
from
Toronto.
Yeah. He used to do like ads, so like definitely if you're Canadian, like why not support?
I knew him from like YouTube. Like he'd be on a lot of like Asian YouTubers videos. So Timothy De La Ghetto, like things like that. Just kidding or Just Kidding News. Yeah, those people. Like it would be everywhere. So he was cool. I liked him. I was happy he got the part, so I wanted to support. He did a good job. And then the next few movies for him, I hope they hit. I would definitely recommend it. Go watch it. Maybe a Tuesday if you're really concerned about pricing. Just Tuesday. It's worth the money. It was entertaining. 8.2 for me. Red will say
8.5.
8.5. Okay.
I'll keep that 8.5.
All right. That's a little high there.
It is high, but like we'll see.
That's close, just like a A- range, but yeah, that's all. If you guys like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Again, check out the audio formats. They come out a little bit earlier. For the podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Podcasts. If you guys have any suggestions on what we should be watching, we're gonna be doing anime as well, and maybe some style type videos, like or challenge type videos, where if we're Marvel heads, we'll have a Marvel challenge, anime heads, anime challenge, etc. So just tune into that. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. But that's pretty much it. You got anything to say?
Oh, that's everything.
All right, we're out, man. Peace.
Easy.